Good afternoon. Nice to see you all for another session of B2B Intershop's B2B Frontrunners. And before we start the session, we've got some news waiting for everybody to join. This is the news we've got for today. We've got a interesting URL for you. Please visit Blend AI and experience what customer service will be like in the future. The claim of Blend AI is that they can, easily implement your entire customer service into their application. Actually, it is voice chat. So instead of a numbers choice menu, you get a real-time answering from a AI bot. You can use it for outbound and for inbound calls, and try it and be amazed. And the other one is how you can use visuals. You've all seen what Kate did, the English princess yesterday, and all the commotion. She wasn't aware about the things Alibaba is doing with images. And we're going to see a short video, and there you see a other queen, Audrey Hepburn. Based on a one image, this is what can happen.
I never knew you were the someone waiting for me. We were just kids.
Well, what actually happens here is that the technology that Alibaba developed is using this one image you see on the left to create this entire video. And you can use this not only for sound. If you have a recording and you would like to use it and would like to lip sync the image, then that automatically happens. So this will turn the user experience in quite something different. Your customer service agents can be anyone from this. So this is where we are heading for today. Welcome to this exciting session where we're going to look into how we can use AI to increase the customer experience and boost your B2B e-commerce business, because that's where we can use it for. And why do you need a strategic approach? Well, because the developments are very fundamental. We're living in exceptional times, and we've shown this image before, but it is absolutely happening that we're moving from the mass distribution age to the individual age, and customer experience get very personal. And to show you that is how fundamental that change is. This is ChatGPT-4, and this is the chat function in ChatGPT-4. And maybe all of you who uses it can share a thumbs up or can leave a comment on their experience in the chat, or at least indicate if you use it or not. But this is ChatGPT-4, the chat function. That is that little headphone icon in the right. And if you start using it, just like what I showed in the previous experiment in the news, then it starts talking to you. You can start talking to it and have a dialogue, and in the same instance, because this is voice input I give, in the same instance it gives you back in text what you have been saying. And the answers are so incredibly accurate, and you really can have a personal conversation with it, because it adjusts its answers to your profile. As you can see in this example, it refers to my profile in providing the answer. And is this really going to impact business? Yes. Klarna AI, using the same OpenAI technology, handles 2/3 of its customer service calls within the first month of using ChatGPT's solution. They managed to reduce their costs enormously. So it is here to stay, because we passed an enormous technology threshold. This is not just one development that came into place just now. These are all the technologies that are now in place and are changing our world. I showed you those examples, and if you envision, in this case for a logistics firm, what the future will be like, using all this technology, you will see drones, you will see humanoids delivering parcels. And if you don't believe it, there's this 650 million investment of Microsoft and OpenAI in robots, and actually that's humanoids they're investing in, because they're convinced that this will also in the physical world will change how we interact with machines. So we're going to have a huge change, and that's challenging. That's challenging because we're moving from single channels to very individual, or from single channel retail to individual commerce, individual interactions with unique customers. And most of the companies are still at the omni-channel stage, trying to get their technology up to speed to be able to do basic personalization, where in the examples we just showed, you see that it is becoming very advanced in its personalization, and it is getting very individual. So that's what these sessions are about. This is where today's session is about. How can you use it to boost your e-commerce, and how can you use it to increase the customer experience? And we've got a very exciting program for you. We already have had the welcome and my introduction, but we're going to look at the strategic perspective, and that's going to be by a presentation by Diconium. And then Koppenberg, Lisa Helquist from Koppenberg will introduce the survey Intershop and Koppenberg did on what actually is the state and the state of mind among B2B companies in adopting these technologies. And later, based on those insights, we're going to have a panel discussion with, amongst other, Bunzel and Spinner. And then finally, Intershop will also show what their roadmap is and how are they going to accommodate all these technology developments and help you, just as we do with these sessions, to boost your business and to use all this technology to improve and enhance your customer infinite customer journeys. I would like to start and hand over to Diconium, to Bert Bunkert, to explain us how important strategy is in this respect. Bernd, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks, Arjen. So, as Arjen said, I'm Bernd. Hi, everyone. At this B2B Frontrunner session, I'm a digital consultant with Diconium. So, who's Diconium? Back in '95, two friends, Andreas and Daniel, met in a ski hut. Andreas had been asked by a big mail order company if he could build an electronic catalog. So Andreas and Daniel started a company in Stuttgart, their hometown, well known for brands like Porsche, Mercedes-Benz, and Bosch. Right place, right time, obviously, to start a digital agency and eventually to expand it internationally. Since 2000, Diconium is 100% owned by the Volkswagen Group. With its growth in size and geography, Diconium also expanded its competencies. This helped a lot to maintain the builder mentality that sparked Andreas and Daniel in their early days. Today, we have our stakes in digital innovation of the Volkswagen-owned brands, but we also work beyond the group and in other segments. Enough. Let's talk about innovation. Imagine a live video chat with your colleagues, and all of them are faked in real time. Obviously, this was unthinkable in the near past. Let me quote internet legend Bieber White. He worked with Tim Berners-Lee on the iconic very first web page at CERN and later built the first ever US page. When criminals use it, we have to take it serious. And obviously, criminals are using AI. So to be honest, the context was Bitcoin when we had this conversation, but certainly this wisdom of Bibo can be applied in much more universal ways. So let's get serious and look at some AI use cases which may be more relevant to your business if you're not a criminal. Sports news have probably been the first content that was created at scale by AI. I recall a conference in Denmark 5 years ago where the participants voted if a news article had been written by a human or by an AI. The hit rate of the audience was around 50%. You could have thrown dice rather than to ask the experts to achieve the same result. Last summer, a DXP partner of Deconium demonstrated on stage how a complete landing page was crafted in a few minutes, including SEO-optimized text, matching images, and the translation into other languages. The author was assisted by the combined power of ChatGPT, DALL-E, and DeepL, all seamlessly integrated into the editing system. By 2030, there is probably no content that has not been crafted with some way of AI assistance. Thanks to AI, we shall create more and better content in less time. Users can easier find what they look for on your site, while your content team can produce more relevant content for special audiences. The promise is to improve the user experience, to make the site easier to find on search engines, and to increase its conversion rate. When we use digital payments in an online shop today, it's very likely that the sequence of the payment methods has been automatically adjusted by AI. Putting the most likely method first boosts the conversion rate. What works with payment methods powered by a PSP's AI technology will also work with your products on a search page or product use listing page powered by tools like Intershop Spark AI. Marketing can use AI to get better insights into big data, to identify new target audiences, and craft campaigns that convert better. AI can be trained to understand relationships between things and assist customers to find the right product or spare part. But it can also assist to configure quite complex systems from existing components. Think of trucks, cranes, or complex machines that are built to order. If that's your business, AI can empower your sales force to offer solutions which better match your customers' needs and avoid custom development. Combining the emotional intelligence of humans with the logical intelligence of AI is a very promising aspect to boost sales. The transformative power of AI does not even stop at whole business models. Data and AI can help to better improve preventive maintenance, which in turn reduces maintenance costs. Better understanding of wear patterns may also help engineers to improve products. Manufacturers have already started to transform their business models from product towards product as a service. An EU-funded project with participation of white goods manufacturer Gorenje rolled out hundreds of washing machines in pay-per-use business model. The objective was to research and demonstrate the outcome in the field. For Gorenje, this resulted in a shift from selling washing machines to repeated leases with remanufacturing steps in between. After years of learning and adjusting, a full commercial rollout is expected later this year. On a side note, such a change in the manufacturing industry is an important step towards a more sustainable, less fragmented circular economy, something our society should strive for. You may already use core components, which are product services in your car. Extras that used to be sold on top of a particular car model are now more and more offered as a service that can be switched on and off. This makes it easier to sell the extra to second-hand users, but also helps to engage the consumers and learn more about their needs. Meanwhile, this is an integral part of the automotive industry's business. We can't ignore the transformative power of AI. Still, only 13% of companies are using it, according to the IFO Institute. Among these AI projects, many are already failing due to lack of data excellence. Why is data so important to AI? Let me tell an anecdote from my early career. After leaving the university, I worked with a high-tech company in northern Germany. We developed all kinds of state-of-the-art systems for air traffic control, defense, and the likes. The army asked us if you could develop a system to discover tanks that are hidden for an ambush. We built a neural network, the AI, and trained it with loads of images of hidden tanks. Eventually, The AI learned to spot tanks which were so well hidden that even humans had a hard time to see them. A big success for everybody involved. Then, winter was coming. It started to snow, and the world around turned white. Suddenly, our brave AI could not even spot a green tank standing on a snowy white field. Why? To train the AI, we had used tons of images of tanks in the green. They had been selected because of the challenge they provided to humans. Any images of tanks on a snowfield? Nope. In fact, we had trained the AI to ignore the obvious. These were early steps. Computing power and data have increased tremendously since, but the underlying mechanics is more or less the same. There is no I in AI. AI simply generates the most likely answer to a question based on the data it has. If the data is flawed or the question is not smart enough, the AI won't deliver a miracle. Obviously, AI needs some safeguards to be trustworthy. In 2021, the European Commission proposed the first EU regulatory framework for AI. It rules that AI systems are analyzed and classified according to the risk they pose to users. Different risk levels mean more or less regulation. When you plan your AI strategy, plan to comply with the rules. But how can you know that your AI is trustworthy? Ask the expert. Diconium can help you with an assessment and identify potential gaps. Once the gaps are closed, we can also lead your team through the steps of an official certification process. But maybe we're already one step ahead now. What if you're not in the 13% who already use AI? How can you start to build your AI strategy in the first place? It's a bit like setting up the game plan for the next football game. I mean, the one you play with hands, and hello to my American friends here. A sport that's much about strategy and its disciplined execution. In the sport, there are at least three factors that matter: the offense, the defense, and the special teams. The game plan needs to factor in the roster of your organization and its capabilities. That's not easy. It needs a team effort. In your business field, you also factor roles that matter. Digital maturity. Do you know what capabilities your team have, or should you do a fitness check first? Organization. How can you align with the stakeholders on common goals and win their support for your ambitions? Use cases. How can AI improve the way you do business? Obviously, there is no one-size-fits-all solution to such challenges. Not in the sport, not in the business. Start with a kickoff workshop. Bring the relevant stakeholders at the table. Get them involved as early as possible. Obviously, your AI strategy needs to be in line with the overall business objectives. Once the big picture is clear, define and prioritize use cases that bring your business forward. Investigate into possible obstacles and agree on the scope of a first MVP project. Be pragmatic. Which goals are achievable in the next month and which are not? Find out where you are. Find out where you want to go. Set the course for the first leg of your journey, and then just do it. But observe your progress and adjust. So we have 5 takeaways. If you forget everything I just told you, keep those 5 in mind. If you haven't started with AI yet, it's time to get going. Diconium can guide and inspire your strategy. AI enhances your options to reduce operational costs, to increase revenue, or even to transform your business model to a more profitable and sustainable one. AI needs to be trustworthy and compliant with legal rules. While you are looking at AI, don't ignore other obvious improvements. Don't forget the tank. See what's there. Together, we'll find the levers to drive your growth as a B2B frontrunner. Just give us a call. So thank you for your attention, and back to Ian.
Well, thank you, Bernd. Thank you for this great introduction to what it strategically takes, but also what you have to do in your organization. And this pretty much reflects what we all experience right now. We know there's going to happen a lot and we're all in a way underway in discovering how exactly it works and what it takes to make it work. But you have to do it with your entire organization and have to motivate everybody. That is exactly also what Lisa Helqvist from Koppenberg will talk about. She will share the results of an extensive research they've done among B2B companies on how they actually look at these developments, especially focused on how this can enhance the customer experience and the customer journey. Lisa, will you share your findings with us and the audience? Your mic, you have to switch on your microphone, Lisa.
Sorry, there I am, right? Thank you, Arjen, and thank you for having me on your stage today. And it is a pleasure and an honor. And I think this first session really shed some light on the key aspects that we're going to discuss here today. And as Arjen started off saying, I'm Lisa Helqvist, Managing Director of Koppenberg. Koppenberg is a content creating company and a media company based out of Stockholm, Sweden. So we have nothing to do with ciders, even though people might confuse our name. So what I have in store for you is actually the results of a joint study that Intershop and Koppenberg has done together. And this is a survey report, as you can see here on the screen, that is coming out in the next couple of days for you to read. It's almost fresh out of the graphic designer as we speak, but that also means that the key statistics that I will be showing to you today are really fresh findings after we have surveyed 113 B2B manufacturers in Europe on how they define digital buyer convenience in B2B within their own organization. And this survey then combines quantitative and qualitative data from the respondents. We, of course, pick the brains of industry digital experts, and we explore how they define the B2B buyer journey within their own organizations, what kind of KPIs they use, what kind of technology they're investing in, and where on the buying journey their customers are most likely to be happy, but also where they struggle the most. And all of this boils down to strategy, operations, technology adoption, and the impact of AI, as these results will showcase. So basically, we're looking at how we can transform B2B digital commerce for maximized customer engagement and growth. So with that said, I would like to share some of the key results with you today. We can see from the results of our survey that B2B e-commerce is truly undergoing a significant transformation, and it is driven by evolving buyer expectations and technological advancements. Much as Arjen just started off saying, there's this expectation of maybe the personalized experience or the individual experience when you buy something online. We also expect a seamless and engaging experience throughout the full journey. But how can we achieve this and maximize the value of every customer interaction? So we're setting out to unlock the full potential of the digital buyer convenience. Much of this actually lies in AI. It is very clear from the respondents that AI is shaping the future. By leveraging AI solutions, the respondents indicate that they can streamline their buyer journey, personalize interactions, and continuously analyze performance to ensure frictionless experiences that fosters, of course, long-term customer loyalty. So what we then need to do is, of course, look at how the role of AI can be implemented into our organization. So let's get a little bit deeper into the statistic and discover how AI can unlock this potential and this world of possibilities for B2B e-commerce and help us bring growth. So here are some key statistics that we found out surveying these manufacturers. So we can see that a vast majority, 82.5% of the organizations recognize the potential of AI to improve their online buying convenience. That is a staggering majority, and of course that is indicating a growing awareness within the B2B sector that the transformative power of AI technologies are here to stay and the impact it has on your digital commerce. But, however, there is always a but. Despite this recognition, we see that only a small fraction, 7%, that is not a lot, that's not even 1 in 10, right, of the organizations are actively harnessing AI today to optimize and streamline their existing processes. So that also indicates to us that even though we acknowledge the full potential of AI, we haven't really been able to adopt it, and there are barriers to this adoption. And it could be such things as implementation challenges or a lack of understanding on how to leverage it. But we will dive a little bit deeper into that later on. On the other hand, the organizations that use AI report 95% higher customer satisfaction and an 88% higher engagement, which is, of course, incremental numbers to keep in mind. So it showcases the business case and the reason to exist for AI. So when it's smartly implemented into your strategies and business processes, it really affects your overall outcome of your business. So the report in itself underscores the importance of AI in driving positive experiences for the customers and suggests that organizations that embrace AI technologies are better positioned to meet the evolving needs and expectations of digital buyers. So we should keep that in mind going forward. If we then dive deeper into a little bit of the key statistics of the industry, we can see that over the next 3 years, quite a noticeable percentage, almost a third, but 27% to be accurate, of organizations plan to invest or upgrade their e-commerce platforms. And this is also indicating a growing emphasis on leveraging technology for delivering seamless and personalized online customer experiences. And of course, if you're looking at upgrading e-commerce technology, one could almost say that without doubt, that's going to have some elements of AI in it. And I mean, this planned investment, of course, reflects a strategic shift towards adopting AI-driven solutions to enhance digital buyer convenience, and also underscores the increasing importance of AI technologies in the B2B e-commerce landscape. So, despite also recognizing AI's potential, many organizations struggle with data management. A significant percentage, as shown in the last bullet point here on the slide, report difficulties in integrating and leveraging data, and also how to analyze it effectively. And this is, of course, something that could stem from various factors. It could be siloed departmental structures, inadequate data infrastructure, lack of expertise in data analytics, and so forth. But I think the key is also addressing these challenges is really crucial for organizations to fully capture the true value of AI. And here it is probably something that is for every management team to review and sit down and have a conversation about to unlock the full potential is, of course, how you embed technology to support your strategy. You shouldn't build the strategy around the technology, but rather choose technology supports the strategy. So there's a true need for definitions and measurability here in these investments to be able to justify them later on. It's one of the things we see most at Kopparberg is that the organizations out there are investing in technology, but then later on have a hard time showcasing the business case. So by doing this thoroughly from the beginning and embedded into your business strategy with the end objective in mind, this is probably also the way we will break down this challenge on bullet point number 3. So have a clear data strategy. Then we have the challenges that are actually on this path of AI transformation. Of course, personalization is the driver and maybe the benefit that we want to achieve for many in the e-commerce landscape. That's voted the #1 driver. But what is holding us back here is the limited understanding of how AI applies to B2B buyer convenience. So basically, how can it be applied to specifically improve the buyer journey? And also, this might require some guidance and case studies to actually demonstrate successful implementations. That is at least some of the suggested aspects that our respondents have given in our qualitative piece of this survey report. Another issue is, of course, cost concerns associated with implementing AI solutions, as with any other technological solution. That can be a barrier, and also bear in mind that the report suggests that the long-term benefits is of increased customer satisfaction and potential revenue growth, as voted from the companies that already have AI truly implemented. They have this higher percentage on customer satisfaction and customer retention. Then we can see that these benefits could outweigh the initial investment of the technology itself. Then, of course, data limitations. It is very important to train AI models to require, the large data sets that we needed to be trained on, but also understanding our buying journey and the customer interactions. So we, of course, somehow feel for the companies that might not have enough data to train your algorithms correctly. But for the rest of us, I think it's very important to just define what questions the algorithm should answer for you. And bear in mind that AI will be able to cope with way more data than the human brain. Then, of course, as we touched upon earlier, one of the main indicated challenges for the implementation of AI and technology in general, but in the specific instance, we're discussing the AI. And that is the highlight I've chosen to discuss in this segment, is, of course, the data silos. That is hindering data accessibility for AI applications. And that is yet again something we have to break down by making sure we have clear and defined strategies and collaborative approaches across the different departments that are going to make use of this data. If we then jump to some of the conclusions that I would like to share with you today, and what this report actually then brought into daylight, is that we need to prioritize data management and break down the departmental silos. We need to invest in AI-driven solutions for personalized experiences. The emphasis on personalized experiences is like a red thread throughout the survey report. I don't think there's any instance where the personalized experience is not mentioned or voted as one of the highest candidates for approaches to take going forward, or one of the most valuable angles for a company to invest in. So this is definitely something where AI plugs perfectly in. With recommendations, for example, with just optimizing the buying journey online. This is perfect fit for AI technology. Then, of course, we need to cultivate the culture of innovation and embrace the technological advancements. Much as Arjen showed in his first slides, we are moving to an even more individual experience, and this means that we have to be one step ahead. We can't build our online experience for today's customer. We have to build it for tomorrow's customer. So we also have to make sure that we have the longevity and the long-term building blocks to build our strategies on. And I know this is one of the most critical aspects, and we could probably do a full webinar just on this, but this is to continuously measure performance and refine the buyer journey for maximum customer lifetime value. Now, there's a lot of big words in this sentence, but what I would like to boil that down to is basically make sure you have chosen the KPIs that you think is most significant, and is giving the combination of them should give the best picture of the customer buying journey. We saw that the Net Promoter Score was voted as the most popular one, but it is also, in some extent, quite a dangerous one, because it also is just a mere reflection of a very specific instance in the buying journey. It doesn't say anything of the willingness for the customer to stay loyal or come back. So you probably need a set and a range of KPIs to map your customer buyer journey. And Then, of course, or the digital buyer journey. Then, of course, organizations that embrace AI-driven solutions will gain a competitive edge. Our data showcase that this is true already. And as we see the willingness to invest in AI technology going forward from the vast majority of the respondents, I'm pretty sure this will be a part of paving the way forward for B2B e-commerce. And by simplifying the buyer journey and maximizing the customer lifetime value, businesses can thrive in the digital marketplace, as we have touched upon so many times today. Basically, we can conclude this with invest in AI and do it now. Don't be one of the 7% that are looking for the benefits but hasn't really yet deployed it internally in your organization. And make sure you unlock the full potential of the AI technologies. And with that, also make sure you measure and have an eye on your digital buyer convenience. You want digital buyers that find shopping with you easy. You don't want to make life harder for the buyer than it has to be. And I think many agree in the B2B commerce landscape that we often come to seek, for example, spare parts or something similar, which means that we have an urgent need to put what we're looking for into cart and actually check out. And if that is very troublesome, not only do we have a malfunctioning equipment, but we also can't find what we're looking for. So there are many ways we can improve this digital buyer convenience score by improving some of the technological aspects. So with that said, as I said, this is just a snippet of the results from this very comprehensive market study and report by Kopparberg and Intershop. And I would like to welcome you all who's listening to me right now to join a webinar on the 9th of April at 11 o'clock, where we discuss with some manufacturers as well in the room, the sort of overarching trends of this report and the more industry outlook, and taking all the chapters into consideration. This was just a snippet of the technological chapter and AI and what is shaping our investments and forcing us to move forward. So with that said, Arjen, over to you. I don't know if you have any questions for me.
Yes, I do have some questions, and I would like to encourage the audience to, if they have any questions, to drop them in the chat, and also questions that we can't answer today, we can take along to the session on the 9th. So please, everybody, use the chat to drop all your questions and ideas and suggestions. My question to you is, what was the most striking result? What was the most remarkable finding in this research you did?
I mean, obviously, it is the potential that is there. I mean, that is the essence of it all. I know we say that a lot, but now when we have numbers behind that, it's quite different. It is remarkable how much people vote AI to be the biggest transformer going forward, but only 7% has fully sort of integrated it. And that showcases to me that we will probably also see a shift in a way more competitive landscape going forward, because we will all, if we look at the data, implement these kind of technologies, which means that we will all be, running with the same technology. And now we have to find other aspects also to be able to compete around the customers. Now, the ones that implemented AI might be slightly ahead. But at some point in time, the rest of us, I say, but the rest will keep up, right? So then it might be other value aspects that is added on top. I think the ones that stay, that's also one of the things, the self-service and the personalization aspects. And I think that ties into your opening statement, is that the ones that crack the code on how to fully personalize it and have that seamless experience that we bring from our consumer experience, especially the generations younger than myself, they're born into that personalized experience. They will bring that in even in the B2B environment. And already now 73% of all the B2B purchasing decisions actually involves millennials. And to be frank, millennials are quite old. I am one. So, we're already seeing that the next generation is coming, right? I think the Gen Zs are already like 27-year-olds. So we have to make sure that we tailor the experience for that kind of generation and that their expectations. So I see that self-service, a personalized experience, is something we will expect, I think, in return for the data we actually leave behind when we go online.
Yes, okay. I see a remarkable, talking about generations and age, I see a remarkable resemblance with when internet started to happening. I saw that all the companies, and that's related to this figure that everybody knows that it is going to be extremely important, as your findings show. Wouldn't you think that it would need encouragement to all companies to start doing things? Because what we've seen when internet happened is that all the companies that actually started doing experiments and starting to find out how that worked discovered that they needed data, that they needed to do business in a different sense. And wouldn't you agree that it would help if companies would start with doing experiments and start trying how it works, would be better equipped to make that leap that's possible?
No, I agree. I think you have to dare a bit. You have to be a bit brave to sort of test the waters with technology. It doesn't have to be fully organizational, transforming, life-changing. You can do it in little tests groups, and you can find like a minimum viable product in a very specific, or service in a very specific, project. But I also think that, and that's something we come back to at Copperberg all the time, is that it seemed to be a focus on the technology. So, if I could get a penny every time someone says they want to have a discussion about AI, I could probably actually close down my business and just charge for that. But the interesting thing is more about, where do you want AI to support your strategy? So what is the strategy? Is it to create this digital seamless buying experience? And what does that mean for your company? Not necessarily, just an Amazon-like experience. Yes, there are certain values we bring to the table as, buyers that might be, of course, reflected from our experience from Amazon. So we take inspiration. But on the other hand, if you are, let's say, an OEM and, you sell cranes or whatever, it might not be that the customer in that instance wants an Amazon-like experience, number one. That could be, they just need to know what they're looking for. They need to find their warranties. They need to find their parts. They need to find that personalized experience where you as a manufacturer know their installed base, because, how can you not know they have huge cranes? You expect that in return. So I think where the technology sits is not as important as it supports your strategy. So there's a lot of talk about the technology, but I think we should talk about what you want to accomplish with the strategy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and it absolutely does. And maybe your Amazon example is extremely right in many ways, because actually they're transforming their entire user interface right now, using all this data knowledge to enhance those experiences and create different kind of shopping experience. And there, the interesting combination of a very customer focused and very data driven and that's where the two worlds kind of meet. I look very much forward to the session on the 9th of April. I will be certainly there, and I encourage everybody to subscribe to that session and get a better and more profound insight in your findings. Thank you very much for your contribution.
We're starting now. Having me.
Okay, you're very welcome. Thank you very much. We're now going to have a panel discussion, and Bernd Bunkert will join that, and there will be two other participants in that session, and we've created a nice video intro for them.
Next up is our roundtable discussion. Therefore, we would like to welcome two guest speakers. First off is Rudi Uitenhag. He is Digital Transformation Manager at Bunzl. Bunzl is a global distribution and services company based in London that serves multiple sectors, including food distribution, with products like packaging, cleaning supplies, and protective equipment. Bunzl employs over 22,000 employees and operates internationally. In 2022, Bunzl's revenue reached £12 billion, highlighting its significant position in distributing non-food consumables worldwide. And secondly, we would like to welcome Matthias Riedinger. He is Project Manager Digitalization at Spinner Group. Spinner Group champions in high-frequency performance with a global footprint and an annual revenue of approximately 250 million euros. The Spinner Group has a 75-year legacy in RF technology, is based in Munich, and bolstered by 800 employees. They operate production sites across 3 countries and service industries in over 40 nations.
Yes, welcome all in this panel. We have a practical way of working. I pose a question to one of you, and the other ones may join in later after the first participant answered. And my opening question is actually to Matthias Riedinger. From Spinner Group, we've seen Kopperberg, and that clearly shows that there is enormous potential in the AI development. And at the same time, we see that organizations are very reluctant to adopt it and to start working on it. And well, we see all the potential. As you look at it, how do you cross that bridge between strategy and being practical? How do you ensure that your leadership see the importance, but also enables acting upon that? Can you maybe elaborate a little bit on how you do that at Spinner Group?
Yes, hello. So there's a lot of buzz out there driven by generative AI, and it seems so overwhelming what you can do. We've seen the potential in so many different aspects. So sometimes it's really important to say, okay, we have to cluster. We have to find a way from strategically a central way, top down and bottom up, because you see embedded systems we can use, you see new developments coming up. And most important for the strategic approach is to ask, do we have any threats for our business case or our customer's business case? And secondly, then first to see what changes, what we are producing, our business case, and then how we work, how we produce, how we sell, how we communicate with our customers. So there are different aspects. And well, the main approach is to build a central team, agile approach, a squad, because all aspects of the company are touched. And then, as any other project, prioritize, define business case, because at the end it's about figures and KPIs. But it's really important to see that that all parts of the company are affected, because AI, it's always there. It's a really fast development. Again, it's all encompassing.
Okay, and if you look at in what areas do you see the biggest opportunity on the short term and on the long term? If you can you make a division into that?
Well, we have seen from other industries which are ahead, in particular B2C industries, many best practice examples we can learn from. So sometimes it's a quick win just to implement a best practice approach, no matter whether it's a chatbot or whether we use generative AI for content creation, and SEO content, and so on. And well, it's also there for a long time when we talk about computer-aided design. So there are many bottom-up initiatives where we can have quick wins, as well as the strategic approach to identify bigger projects like setting up a large language model for our company data.
Okay, thank you. If you look at the first steps you would have to take as an organization, what is it? How do you translate your strategy in practical steps? Because in the chat also we see a lot of questions always on what actually is the effectiveness, and we're at the stage where you haven't got those percentages and those real results available yet. It has to do with belief and with common sense. And how do you bring that to your senior management?
Well, it helps. It supports the argumentation when you have surveys with figures. But in the end, it's a question: can we adapt and expect the same in our organization, in our specific use case? Yes, but we will try to create a proper business case, even with estimations, and that's the only way. Well, to start with. Yeah, but very often it's trust and that we can transform a business case or use cases from other companies as with the same potential or as they have profited.
Okay, Bernd, how do you tackle that? Because I guess you get that question often as well. We see the strategic perspective, but what does it bring us today, or how can we show the money? How do you go along on that path? Your mic is off, Bernd. Can you switch it on?
Not now anymore. Thanks.
No, it's on. Yeah.
Obviously, you can attack the whole thing from two angles. You can look at your weaknesses. For instance, my service department is not really doing well, providing 24/7 service to my customers, but I'm a hidden champion and have customers all around the world which call at different times. That's something, for instance, where a chatbot might be helpful to at least answer the most obvious questions automatically. But also, there are cases already in place, like with Lufthansa, where a chatbot is automatically translating on the fly, therefore taking language barriers away. That could be one angle of attack. Some completely other angle of attack could be, for instance, if you see you don't get enough organic traffic on your page, and you could improve on SEO and things like that by producing better content, which you can't do because your content team is not big enough to produce content at scale. And then obviously there are lots of different layers in between. So you could look from looking at your weaknesses and try to improve the situation there, to get quick fixes in order to get better there. But you could also look at where I'm ahead of my competitors and where could I improve there and even make the distance bigger. So it's always an individual question where to start. But as I said in my talk, try to be pragmatic and find low-hanging fruits. Don't plan for hundreds of years to do something which is perfect. But just get going and do something small and then do incremental steps on it.
Yeah, so it's envision where you want to head somewhere in the next couple of 5 years, and then at the same time start doing practical things to prove your use cases, to discover how it works, and to start a learning process. Is that right?
Exactly. And as I said, also, it's all driven by data. So you also need to find out, for instance, if you're talking about content production, you may rely on ChatGPT, where you have the database basically built into the product already in the GPT. If you're going into your own data, I've seen lots of companies struggling with data quality, and you may need an initiative first there. So that's probably not the first logical step to start that area, because you might need some projects creating the data quality that you need to get good results from AI.
Okay. Rudy, the situation in your company is much different. You don't have a strong central organization, but you don't enforce your technology on your companies. How do you convince, or how do you encourage people to start using those technologies and prepare for this development? Can you maybe explain how you do that?
Yeah, of course. First of all, it's good to understand that we have at Bansal a really local approach. So each company can make its own decisions and create its own strategy. What I do as a digital transformation manager is visit all the local companies. First of all, to understand what systems are they using now and what are the future plans. Why I'm asking this question? I want to understand where are they standing now, which challenges do they have, and we have presentations already at other upgoes, so we can share the knowledge. So that's basically the starting point from my perspective. But also have at the if we are looking to Europe, because I'm from a bunch of continental Europe, so I visit all the upgoes in Europe. We've got also a local IT team in Amsterdam and in Hungary, and we provide best-of-breed solutions. So they can use those systems and solutions what we have already in place, but it's not what we put them onto. You have to use that for, and you cannot choose other systems. They can use it, they can share the knowledge as well. But when they choose their own system, they are really on their own as well. Their own IT department, they have to arrange the contracts, etc. So we share both. And what we also do is creating a digital community as well, where we share all this knowledge into presentations for all the upgoes. And what we see is that not only Europe anymore, but we also have contact with Canada, America, Australia, to share all this knowledge in the whole Bunzl family, because we are into what I saw into the introduction movie. It's an amazing company, and we are so huge. It's unthinkable that we can use one system and one strategy for all the upgoes.
No, but at the same time, you could also argue that considering all the investments needed, that you would like to share all the learnings between the various companies. So is that what you're trying to achieve with your community? Is that what you're working on? So not maybe using the same technology platform? I'm sorry?
It's going good?
Yeah. I can hear you.
Okay, great. Yeah, it's good to understand. We have 5 crucial elements in how we operate. Then, first of all, it's clear community channels. So we have the channels where we can share this knowledge and make everyone aligned, where they can talk to each other and share the knowledge. But also, it's very important collaboration, make solutions that can change and be changed to fit different companies' needs. So different options to each company can make solutions work for them. So it's not one fits model. It's there are options in place, but we are able to create some environments for those opcos, and we offer support and for that. So we have got the teams in place. We've got the SLA on it, and we've got also like a customer support from the head as well to support all the opcos. It's helping each other, sharing the knowledge, giving training, guides them in the way of working, challenge them in which channel made and which systems they are using them.
Thank you. There's a slight hiccup in your connection, so not everybody can hear you that well. But we understood your answer right. Bernd, in relation to cooperation and accelerating speed, because what you see and what amazes me is the enormous speed with the developments and the announcement, especially from big tech. In your respect, how should companies cooperate, and maybe even within the infrastructure of Intershop, how do you see that collaboration can help companies to generate more speed and to accelerate the developments?
Again? I didn't want to stop the other speakers, sorry for that. Obviously, it's a very interesting question, because we know from cycling that 2 cyclists who alternate in the lead are much faster than a single cyclist who has to fight the wind on its own. Peer learning is a very, very strong cultural thing, but you need to be in a company that allows it at the same time. So there needs to be a trade-off between what kind of information you're willing to share and what you need to protect from your competition. To your question, should this be done in the context of Intershop, or should this be done maybe in a more general context? We need to look at it from the customer side usually, or from the user side. I always like to look at things outside in rather than inside out. And the question is, what do they expect and what's the purpose of it? If you just want to share things you have built in an open space, then obviously something like GitHub is a good place to do it. But nobody would expect something at GitHub to be compatible with their Intershop e-commerce technology. So obviously, if that's the perspective, that you want to share some add-ons that are really useful to some particular technology, you need to embrace the Apple shop principle and build something in a universe that revolves around some particular technology.
Yes, but I'm also referring to what you, and that's typically maybe a characteristic of AI. If you look at ChatGPT, what they did with a GPT store, I could imagine that it is, well, having those add-ons, having those technologies that run on your core technology and well, are simply add-ons, that could be enormously beneficial, that within the community of Intershop users, you could share functionalities that increase the customer experience. Isn't that right?
Certainly, yes. That's certainly right. And obviously, a great idea. On the other side, companies may ask, what's in it for me? And I can only warn there. I would say embrace the open source principle here. Because otherwise you may end up in a lot of troubles being responsible for maintaining things and so on, which is adding some extra complication and will just slow you down rather than speed you up. So building great things and sharing it with others is a good thing, as long as others also contribute themselves. And then as a team, like the cyclists, you can get both faster, and that's the benefit in it.
Matthias, can you share your perspective on this? Because this is, well, a different kind of thinking of, not this is what I've developed and it's proprietary, maybe help my competitors excel. Is that something that fits into the thinking within your company?
Yes, so we have to see it's technology out there which is easily accessible, or that even our competitors use the same ecosystems, no matter when it's about e-commerce or CRM platforms or whatsoever. But so we have to decide where we can use the open systems, which all might use as the same, or an open model which has, let's say, the common knowledge of the world in the model for example, text generation, as well as to identify where I have to create our advantage with our own model when it comes to company data, which is just available for us, where we have the advantage and can provide, let's say, in a chatbot, the best answers. No one else can do it the same way. That's where you have to decide, which is also a quick win, and where you are driven by the software providers, by the ecosystems, or where you have to develop your own, let's say, interfaces or features in your own ecosystem.
Okay, and what do you see as the biggest challenge in the developments the next couple of years from your organization perspective?
It was mentioned earlier. I think it's a lack of trained and educated staff. So you have to do your own training, and well, the quality of data. Small, medium businesses often still rely on old legacy systems, which don't have modern interfaces. Even ERP systems which can't handle special characters, just to mention one. So that's a challenge to build up the foundation, no matter whether you call it within a PIM system, a CRM environment, or even ERP systems.
Okay. And really, what is on your wish list for the AI experiments for the next year or the next half year? Do you have a wish list, or which projects are on that list?
Yeah, good to ask. Yeah, certainly in a company like Banzo, there are significant limitations of using AI for now, because there's a lot of confidential information, and we cannot share all the information in AI. With so many employees, it's difficult to have rules on it and measure on it. So that's the biggest challenge for us right now. But I see some first great steps for using AI in product content and the marketing departments. I see some nice presentation already and first steps of using AI in the whole Banzo company. But yeah, I think it's the future. So we have to make the steps, but it's very important to have the rules on it and really train the employees on it. So yeah, it's. I think we are in the beginning, and it's also the level of maturity into the opcos, the local companies from Banzo, from which company is ready to use AI and which one is not. So also using AI is a local strategy from the local management, but also security is a huge thing for Banzo. So you cannot create your own rules on security, and yeah, we have to follow the rules.
Okay. In regard to the previous point and the point you were making about data reliability and in terms of knowledge sharing, I've been working for a lot of insurance companies, and they're very keen on legal and compliance, and they actually defined a kind of structure as guardrails that automatically everybody does within the company fits within the compliance. And I think sharing that kind of information, that kind of structures, that's not confidential information. That's a way of working. That's a principle they use. And I think sharing that information can be very, very helpful and help accelerate speed. So that's at least what we're going to do in the next couple of sessions in B2B Frontrunners. Try to look at where we can share information in order to create that acceleration, and not by sharing data, but by sharing principles, by sharing ways of working. So anybody who has any suggestions or questions in that respect, please reach out through the chat. Matthias, what is on your wish list for the next 6 months in terms of AI experiments?
Well, that we can implement the first use cases. So there have been some proof of concepts. Again, as also Bernd mentioned, to use an agile approach, make proof of concepts, start small while thinking big. But that would be utilizing AI when it comes to customer experience. We saw the slide decks, what you can improve in customer experience with AI as well. What is not mentioned here when it comes to pricing, for example, for price setting, which is an important aspect where AI can use a lot with segmentation or even calculating price suggestions. So that would be on my wish list, because using AI for content creation, that's already established. Guidelines have to be established finally. But it's a great change management going on. That's also a challenge for the company and also a risk for failure, because sometimes we have to define new processes and not just follow the old ones.
And there's also, I think, a learning that you can share, how you structure these processes and what the elements are that you have to take in account there. Bernd, you're the lucky one, because you had plenty of time to think about what your AI dream for the next couple of 6 months is. So I'm curious to hear what you're thinking of.
Yeah, personally, what I like to implement with the customer really is sort of a full circle. I mean, I have lots of legacy personally at the intersection of content and commerce, and I would really love to implement some customer acquisition driven by AI and personalization. And I hate the word personalization because it's all about relevance. producing more relevant content, and improving on the SEO front at the same time, acquiring more customer, and thereby increasing revenue of one of our clients. That would really be something I would have lots of fun with.
It's especially relevant because these first-party cookie data regulation is now really getting into place. So this is a very interesting topic, and it is not only the front end; it is also the back end. What Matthias stipulated. I want to thank you very much for your contribution to this panel. It's very interesting to hear about the various perspectives. And we are now going to pass on this discussion to Intershop, to Tobias Giese, who will explain what Intershop actually is doing with its technology framework to enable AI and to, really accelerate in this wonderful world of AI-enabled B2B commerce.
We had now heard a lot of insights regarding AI, data, and technology. So in my part now, I would like to summarize some of the key findings from today, but also give a view how we as an e-commerce provider see the future. And hopefully there are some things for you as a manufacturer or wholesaler that you can take into your daily work or strategic work. So let's get started. And I would like to start with the following, especially what we have heard is really that identifying the innovation drivers and also setting and establishing partnerships is really crucial, because nowadays we have very complex organizations, very complex requirements, new technologies, and so on. So I think for every company it's really crucial to define also a set of not just communication patterns but also collaboration with certain innovation drivers to identify key requirements internally, but also externally. And here I just want to give you a short overview. For sure, you have your suppliers, you have your customers, right? You're doing know-how exchanges like we do here in the front-runner sessions. And I think also, I think Rudy from Bunzel mentioned that visiting your different business units, your local companies, your opcos is really crucial to really interact with them, to gather their feedback, to try out certain things, and to establish also something like a company-wide, but also regional or local specific structure to really get feedback, to incorporate that into your business and try out new things, right? And I think that's crucial. So we are also working with a lot of academics, so university, some meters here from our office, right? But also with a lot of other universities. We have a strategic partnership with Microsoft. So it's not just that we want to bring customers to the Azure cloud. For sure, they're also keen on getting this, but for sure, they're also supporting with the AI and software engineers to helping us to also improve our platform and our business. And I think that's important nowadays, that you have also strategic partners to collaborate. And now you could say maybe this slide is a little bit theoretical, but I'm also a big fan of having the right emotions and also the right thing, how to collaborate. And I just want to say this here, as you can see in the image, what we do is we have a really strong relationship with our customers and partners, right? And we invited them for a hackathon, especially on AI. So that's really important that you collaborate, that you try new things and really bring together your customers, but also the customer, they brought their so-called pilot customers or first movers also to that hackathon, and we invited some kind of AI partners as well. So at the end, we really had a really energetic hackathon. And also what I want to highlight here is that it's not like you're inviting or extracting people from their project, inviting them for 2 days in an office somewhere in Europe, but really taking this output as well and then taking it back to the project, plan it for the next phases, try out things that can work or some that might be also not work. And I think this is really helpful to have this kind of innovation cell, so to say, in every step of your project. Yeah, it's not like, hey, I'm doing one innovation project, I'm done. No, for me, it's also that you have small innovation cells that really boost your business. And what also Matthias said from the Spinner Group is really a mixture of having strategic programs or use cases, but also really technical operational ones that you can really bring in the next phase of the project to life. And also what I think is very important to align that with your business goals, right? I mean, AI is a thing, data, technology is just an enabler, right? So you want to reach your business goals. And I'm a big fan here of that, digital maturity levels. And what you can see here is really that every company is in different maturity level. And also I think what Rudy said is really that it's not one company and you are in that stage, so to say. You also have different brands, local companies, and they're on different maturity levels, and you have to cater for all of them, right? So it's important to really identify, hey, with my corporate company part or whatever, I'm on that level. With the local, certain local companies, I'm on that level, and then I can push forward, right? I'm in certain regions, I'm more on the branding and informational level. I want to increase the online customer base, focusing on the extract phase. But on the other more cash cow or bigger markets, I'm already on the transactional phase, right? And what we have seen also that the convert phase, it's one of the outcome of the Copperberg report presented by Lisa, really, that this is a huge, a very important phase where you have a huge impact on the customer journey, right? And then you can take it from there, adding self-service. So 42% of all customers are already using self-service. That's good, but just 7.5% are using support capabilities in the self-service, right? And that's also important to improve the customer centricity, but also reduce the frictions. Doesn't help you if the attract and convert phase is great, but then if you want to pay or want to have it delivered and all the things are not working well and they need support, right? So please consider this as well towards really a personalized approach. Sorry, Bernd, I used the word personalized here, but I know what you mean, and it's important that you really can optimize the buying journey, using the different measurements like NPS or satisfaction scores to really improve their business, moving towards smart connected. And I think that's important, that you can then or need to connect certain environment systems like your machines with the sensors and so on, so that also the after sales, the last part, which is the first phase again of the rebuying process, again is then automatically addressed. And for us as Intershop, our big vision is to provide really an autonomous, self-optimizing platform and environment, because what we have seen today is there are a lot of decisions to be made in the future, and they will be much more complex. But I think also Matthias mentioned that we all lack labor, right? Skilled persons, train them, take them with us. The bigger the company, the more difficult it is, right? So I think it's important, and that is what you will see in the next minutes, that we want to add AI to empower certain stakeholders to do the right decisions, or to at least having data-driven support to make a decision, right? And I think this is really, really important. And just as a next step, when you move towards that road, I think one key element is also to have a platform that is future ready, for sure. And if you would ask me now, hey, please draw a platform that can cater for such kind of requirements we just talked in the last 78 minutes about, is really that you need to have something like an AI core out of the box there, yeah, for sure. But you need also customer experience, user experience, and I think Bernd mentioned that also as well, the product discovery part, the personalization or recommendation part is crucial. We see that as a main element in the customer journey. It won't go away, and it's not about search anymore, because search means I have search results. Now it's more like I have a business question and I want to provide an answer, right? And for sure it needs to know the product and all the other kind of information. And the other parts for us is really the scalability, the ease of integration, and for sure providing any kind of business model. This is also what I think Bernd mentioned, that it's not like just selling spare parts maybe at the beginning, but later having pay-as-you-go selling or subscribe to certain services and things like that. And for sure, this is completely agnostic. Yeah, you can pick any provider, but if you want to have a deeper look, Intershop provides such a platform as well. But it's not about Intershop. It's more about how can you bring a lot of business value automatically to the customer, for sure. You need a rich set of capabilities out of the box, but also this kind of flexibility, right? And what we see here, this composable smart portal helps you to really tailor the content, the services, and the transactional parts really to your customers, internally and externally. And at the end, and I think Bernd mentioned that at the beginning, you for sure need shopping carts, recommendations, all the things. But in the next steps, you want to try out certain things. You identify, oh, there's a pain point in my customer journey, and I want to use AI to recommend the right payment methods or the right shipping or the right shipping rules or whatever for e-commerce manager, right? And I think this is helpful that you have this kind of assets or components ready, but really can also be replaced by best of breed, if you want to go that route, or even by AI components or AI generated outcome at the end, which you just want to embed in your customer journey. And also next to the platform itself, I spoke a little bit about the different components around the AI core is crucial, right? And I think Rudy mentioned that, and also Matthias, every company needs to define their own AI framework, their own setup. I just mentioned a little bit the collaboration part and so on, but maybe just as an impulse from what we are doing at Intershop, right? So we said, okay, how can we help our customers? So maybe we implement 20 AI use cases and try that they will fit in most of the business cases of our customers. Or do we say we really tailor it, but not just providing an AI layer, but saying, hey, the crucial elements to use AI is really getting your business data. So that's what we have with the Business Data Hub, aggregating transactional data, behavioral data, customer data. Then the other part is the integration. Yeah, so you still have external systems feeding data, exchanging data. And this is what we have with the Integration Hub, but it's not like connecting your SAP. Yeah, that's what we have done 20 years ago, but having really a low-code integration platform. So the integration to SAP is there, but just the mapping, matricle, whatever number to product ID in Intershop, whatever needs to be mapped or changed, right? And what we're using externally or to the outside front-end world is really the Intershop Copilot. Everybody knows that, it's quite common, but we see that as the helper for the e-commerce manager and also the customer. And also what we identified, what is the crucial component that has for us, or for our customers and partners, the biggest impact. And that's for us, the product discovery recommendation part. And that's why we have Spark integrated. Yeah, so that's just our, I would say, AI framework, but I think for you, it's important that you did find your own one. And I think Rudy mentioned that you cannot have one component fits all, yeah? Especially in bundle where you have a very big organization, right? But I think you as a corporate part of it, you can define the framework. You can say this component is something like a must-have, but then you can have for sure local extensions, local partners. It needs to be flexible, yeah? But at the end, I think it's important that you define something to set also a common understanding of AI. Yeah? So that everybody in the company looks at that and says, oh, these are my local flexible components where I, in my region, can add certain other tools, applications, and whatever you have, right? And maybe just to explain a little bit, at the end, it's about empowering your stakeholders, and there are multiple ones, right? And what we do is saying, hey, with our front ends, but also with the admin interfaces, we use the Copilot to help our e-commerce managers to really identify how can I boost my business using the right products, asking certain business questions, right? And we try to incorporate that more and more into the interfaces like we just do here. And maybe also to say that it's important to address the stakeholders. And I know that this is quite different for every company. So I just made here some kind of examples. So for sure, you have the buy side. If you're a manufacturer, you're a wholesaler, you have also different partners, component manufacturers. Then you have the sell side. So this is your B2B customers. Some manufacturers have resellers, local dealers, regional dealers, and so on, right? And in between, you have the people, and these are also most of the people that are responsible for your business, right? Like an e-commerce manager, but also more, maybe IT teams. And also the IT teams, they're changing. Formerly, it was more developer operator. Now it's data engineer, data analyst. We also have now the first AI engineers on board. It's a different set of skills that are required, right? And it's important to support them as well. And for sure, under the business operator, so to say, you have the marketing managers, the procurement managers, the service managers, and everybody needs to be aligned together, right? And now the question is, just as an example here to give you maybe some inspiration, what we said, out of the multiple stakeholders we will see in the digital world outside is really our biggest goal is to support the e-commerce manager, but for sure we have also components for the customer and DevOps. So these are our 3 target personas, so to say. And we have then built a roadmap and all the use cases. We identify how much benefit does this use case provide for that target persona. So that I can measure the impact, the reach, and do a business calculation like Matthias said, because at the end, you want to bring money in, but for us, or I think for everybody, it's both parts. It's like the monetization, but also for us, it's the awareness, right? If you have AI technology, right, for sure, you have a different awareness in the market compared to your competitors. So both is important, but both is needed. And then, as I said, you focus on really operational things. Like, for example, the customer we just invited for the hackathon, they have 1,000 different merchants with different levels of maturities. And they really use things like they get an email and use the footer with the Copilot to grade the customer account. Yeah. In former times, it was really like you have to go to CRM, synchronizing the information into the e-commerce system. But at the end, now this can be done via this kind of use cases, right? And last but not least, just to summarize that, and I think this was mentioned really quite often, is really this data-driven support that you can give to your customers to understand their needs. The customer satisfaction, Lisa mentioned that, right? To bring that everything together that you can really identify, this is how I can boost my business with certain customer segments. These are the pain points in my customer journey, to reach the goal together with your customers, with your partners, suppliers, and so on. And I think this is crucial, to also provide this kind of transparency using this kind of data. So, thank you very much already. And I would now.
Thank you, Tobias, for this very clear explanation on where Intershop is heading. And in all our talks prior to the session, what I find very interesting is that you see it as not a fixture, but as a organic structure where you can incorporate other technologies, and you as a core see the enablement of the B2B business. And I find that very interesting and a very compelling future proposition that very much ties into everything we've discussed today. And what actually did we learn today? Well, I guess there is an I in AI because all of us can make the difference. And these sessions are meant to help you and support you and all of us in discovering what actually AI can bring us and how we can use it to enhance the customer experience. So the next session is on conversion. A very practical point. How can you use AI and all this other technology that is now coming available to enhance your conversion? And that is about crafting personalized experience, go beyond basic interaction, enrich customer profiles, and evaluate your success. And we're going to talk with the leaders among you. So anybody who feels that he wants to say something or want to share his thoughts or her thoughts, ideas, ambitions, use cases, and challenges is very welcome. And they don't have to be polished use cases with huge successes. We know we're in a development phase and that we are going to do a lot of discovery. So anybody who is willing to share what he experienced or what his ideas or thoughts are is very much invited to share them. And please join the session with Koppelberg, where more details about the research will be shared. So we're heading for the next B2B Frontrunners session in April. And I would like to thank all the contributors to this session very much, all the panelists, all the speakers. But thank you very much for this very insightful session, and I hope you join us the next time again. Thank you very much.